Hello everyone. This is Denzomos Unscripted guys in the building. You're most welcome back to my channel. You're most welcome back to my page. Is the channel where we break empaths free. We also talk about the awakening of the super empath. So now in this special subject today, beautiful glorious day, I'm going to talk about something what they call walking away and trusting the universe, walking away and trusting your gut instinct, trusting your feelings, believing in your intuition, and how to walk away and you trust the universe. Because always, guys, you need to remind yourself that the grass is greener on the other side. But you see, as an empath, it is very likely that at a certain stage in your life, in our lives as empaths, or like super empaths, there's so many different types of empaths. There's super empaths, there's intuitive empaths, there's psychic empaths. So, but anyhow, if you're an empath, definitely you're a person with a very good heart and very forgiving individual, and somebody who sees things and who takes life differently, or who sees always the good picture in people, and you always have your own view of things that other people don't see. So as an empath, you have to realize that at any point or at some point in your lifetime, you most definitely going to meet a toxic person. Now, this can be a toxic person in a relationship. This can be a toxic individual in a friendship. This can be your mentor. This can be also a teacher. This can be your friend. So toxicity comes in all angles. You know what I mean. So it's not only in relationships, but in this particular subject, I'm going to explain why it is very, very powerful to walk away and believe and trust in the universe. Now, guys, we need to remind ourselves that when you are in a toxic relationship, with an individual, the mind is you kind of stop to function the proper way. You kind of stop to see the clear vision and the clear perspective of things. So there's that essence of feeling that the relationship is really good for you, and there's the essence always what you have of feeling like you are in the right place. But at the end of the day, it's all to do with the mind. It's all to do with the toxicity and the person who you're involved with, making your mind very busy and infecting your mind with toxicity, whereby you can stop to see the clear picture and the clear vision of things. So you have a very cloudy mind whereby you cannot see those people for who they are, and you cannot actually differentiate. You cannot understand the proper difference between love, hate, kindness, rudeness. So you have a very cloudy mind which stops you and blocks you from seeing those people for who they are, who they actually are. You know what I mean? So, and day to day, as you go through these relationships, these kind of friendships or relationships, so on a day-to-day basis, on a daily basis, you always fail to have, you find it very difficult. You can always find it very difficult to make a very, very proper decision. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the relationship, usually with these people, toxic people, you will find that you are starting to see these people for who they are. You know what I mean? You're starting to see the signs. The signs are starting to be very visible, because usually if you've been with these people for a very long period of time, you could have been seeing those signs. You could have been seeing those, those things that they call the red flags. You could have been seeing those red flags, but for some reason, you've probably been like brushing them off as mere incidents, as like, you know, just mere incidents. Maybe it was just another incident, maybe it was just, you know, another situation. So normally you're brushing off those red flags and you're not taking them as very serious. But when the relationship is coming to the end, you're going to realize that there are some of those things you're starting actually to, there are some of those things starting to be very, very clear in your eyes. You know, there are those things that you know very sure that actually somebody is abusing you. You know in your gut that you're actually being abused. You know what I mean? And actually that is one of the most terrifying moments, whereby you actually realize that yes, you're with somebody, but the person is abusing you. It is very, very terrifying, because there is one foot of you that wants to step out of the door, and then there is another foot of you, a side of you that wants to stay in the relationship. So you're having a very mixed feeling, and you're having a lot of emotions going on in your head, and you're thinking, well, should I leave it, or, you know, should I leave this relationship? Should I stay in there? Should I leave? Should I stay? So you have very, very big confusion going on in your head, and you just really don't know what step to take. You just don't know exactly where to go and how to start. But in this special video, I want to encourage you, if you're an empath out there, because definitely I've always told you that empaths are the number one victims that always fall into abusive relationships, whether it is relationships or friendships, as I've said. So if you're an empath out there, I would like to encourage you that it is very vital, important to learn how to take your power back. You have to learn how to take your power back, and you have got to learn how to get grip and hold of yourself and move out of a relationship that actually are not serving you. Because when you start to see those people for who they are, it is a sign that actually your angels, or whatever, your guides, your angels, even God sometimes is actually showing you these signs, because definitely God is not going to come and drag you out of the relationship. He's supposed to, the only thing God will do, or whoever you believe in, I don't know what is your faith out there, but God is trying to show you that yes, that is it. It is what it is, and whatever you're watching or whatever is going on, it is actually what you should base on for you to be able to live. It should be your foundation for you to start moving and to start to get out of that relationship. And which is a very difficult, you know, it's a very difficult, it can be a very difficult situation whereby you don't know, is it time to go? You don't know, is it time to go? What should I do? How can I even go? When should I leave? So your mind is running. A lot of things, emotions are running through your mind, and you do not really know what step to take. But I'm empowering you today, and I'm telling you, when you start learning, when you teach yourself, or when you start taking the first steps of stepping out of those relationships, it is the very first, it is going to be your very first gateway to freedom. So the moment you get out of the door, if you have been dealing with a toxic person, I don't know, these people can be narcissists, sometimes they can be sociopaths, they can be psychopaths, so they can be, but either way, when the moment you move and you get your first step out of the door, is the very moment that you're actually going to start seeing those people for who they are. That is when actually the cloud is going to clear up. Your fears are going to be justified, because when you step out of the door for the next 1 or 2, 3 days, or maybe 1 week, that is actually when you're going to realize what you have been dealing with and the real reason that you've left. It is always very important, guys, to believe in yourself, and it is always very important that we all learn how to listen to the gut instinct. We all have to learn how to listen to the gut. What is the gut telling us? What is our inside? What is the inside? What is it? What is your intuition telling you? What is that feeling you have in your gut that is telling you you really need to go? So we need always to listen. We always need to learn how to listen to our intuition. When your intuition is telling you it's time to go, it is really time to go. Sometimes you need to listen to yourself, because most of the cases, many people who have been engaged with engaged with abuse, engaged in abuse, or engaged with abusers, those abusive people, toxic people, most of those people who have been engaged with them for long periods of time, some of them, they haven't managed to recover. It is a very, very long road to recovery. So some of them, they haven't even managed to recover, and they don't even know if they can ever recover from that, because it's very, very difficult to heal. It is very hard to heal from abuse. You know what I mean? When you've been abused, or when you're being abused for a very long period of time, it is very, very difficult for you to recover, because most of your brain and your thinking capacity has been intoxicated for long periods of time, whereby your body has stopped to function the way it should do, the way it should. Your brain has stopped to function the way it should. And you cannot do things, normal, basic, simple things like you used to, or for example, the way you should do them. Like you've stopped to function completely. Your body is not functioning and your brain is not functioning. So you are completely out of order. But the good part is, when you stepping out, which is very painful, because you know, if you've been in those relationships and you've stepped out of them and you've survived them, and you've gotten out of them, like you've stepped back out of those manipulative games and those manipulation cycles. When you've stepped out, definitely in the very first stages, you have realized that as soon as you stepped out of those relationships, that is when actually you started healing. The very moment you stepped out, you said that, okay, well, I have enough. It's enough of everything. It's enough of abuse. It's enough of the toxicity. It's enough of it's enough of the manipulation. It's enough of the games. When you step back in your power and you start taking back your power, you move out of those relationships. That is the moment you're going to realize that actually you're starting to get your power back. It is going to make you feel like you're getting and you're gaining proper grip of yourself. You know what I mean? You're gaining proper grip of yourself and you're getting your power back. So you're going to realize that your energy is coming back, and all the fog, because guys, remember, like when you're being abused, there's a very foggy, there is some sort of a fog like running through your mind, and you cannot think clearly. You know, you cannot see things clearly for what they are. You cannot think clearly. You cannot reason clearly. You cannot perform. Everything is gone. Everything is like out of order. But when you step out, that is when the fog is going to start clearing, because you cannot clear the fog when you're still in the relationship or a friendship. You cannot clear the fog, whatever is running in your mind, when you're still being abused. When you're still in the abusive relationship, you cannot see those people for who they are. You cannot see them for who they are, because it will be like a cycle, like abuse after abuse, manipulation after manipulation, games after games. So you are in a kind of a cycle that you cannot see very clearly. But the moment you start, the moment you decide that now I'm going out, I'm leaving this situation, that is the exact moment when you're going to realize that actually the fog is clearing. Because when you're being abused with a narcissist, when you've been with a narcissist or a psychopath or a sociopath, when you leave them, in those first weeks, you will realize something, what they call the rage. They are going to rage. You know what I mean? They are going to be very, very, because, you know, guys, these people abuse you because, not because they want to abuse you, but it's because you are supplying, you're like giving them some sort of a fuel. You know what I mean? They are taking a fuel from you. They are taking some energy from you. So by abusing you, it is like they are feeding off your ego. You're feeding their ego. They are feeding off your emotions, and you're feeding into their ego. So that is why the abuse is taking place. But when you step out of that, it practically means that they do not have any more people to abuse. So they do not have anybody to abuse at that moment. And when that abuse now, they don't have anybody to project that abuse out to them. They start now imploding. They go through something what they call the imploding. They're imploding inside. Inside is like they're exploding from the inside. You know what I mean? Because they don't have somebody to validate them. They don't have anybody to play with there. You know, they don't have somebody to do those games they have always been doing with you. So they do not have somebody they are going to abuse the way they have been abusing you. So when you leave them now, when you step out of that, the fog is going to clear up, and then if you have had some kind of contact, or if you know some people who know them, that is when you're going to realize that actually those people now, they start to suffer because they lose the fuel from you. They lose the fuel that you've been giving them. They lose that fuel, and they just go into some kind of a rampant stage whereby they are just like raging. They're just like, it is like you take some food from a kid, you know, like, for example, you've been feeding a kid, and then all of a sudden you take the food from the kid is going to start like crying and, you know, getting angry and getting, you know, like, you know, the kid is going to aggressively, you know, the kid is going to if you take food from somebody, a kid or what, or even an animal, even a dog or what, that animal is going to react. The kid is going to react when you take that food from them. So when you take that food you've been giving the abusers, those people who are manipulative, when you take the food from them, when you take the supply you've been giving them, the fuel from them, it is going to make them turn into, they are going to rage. They are going to like rage and start exploding. You know what I mean? And that is exactly when you are going to be able to see who these people really are. It is by being outside of the game that you're going to see the game for what it is. You know what I mean? So this is like a football match. When you're in the football, you know, when you're in the football stadium, you're watching football and you're enjoying yourself, definitely. And you're watching each and every move. You're looking at the ball. Each and every move the ball is making, all the players, you're seeing them on a very higher perspective. But when you, in that game, you're the one playing, you cannot see those small details. That's why you see always in the football games, they have those people, what they call the referees. So the referees, they're the ones who are like, they have the whole overview of the stadium and the whole overview of the pitch. So they are able to see all the players, how they are playing. But when you step out of the stadium now, you step out of that playing field, that is when you're going to realize that, aha, you will get that epiphany. You will get that moment whereby you say, okay, now I get it. Now it is what it is. This is exactly what I've been dealing with, you know what I mean, for a very long time. So if you're out there and you're really struggling to move on, you're really struggling to leave that toxic relationship, if you're really struggling with that person and you do not know how to get out, you're supposed to get yourself together. It is very, very difficult and very hard to leave those people. It is very difficult. But when you know how to get yourself together and you stand on your own 2 feet and decide that, well, now this is it, I'm going to start making the move. It's called the power move. So you make the first power move to leave. Hard as it is, sometimes you have children, sometimes you have kids with those people, sometimes you have families or what. But when you make the first power move of leaving, actually, and leaving that relationship and getting out, that is when you're actually going to see those people for who they are, because everything now is going to come out on the surface. So the mask, you will see the mask dropping off. Literally, you will see those people for who they have been, for who they really are, for all this time they have been abusing you. That is when actually you're going to see them exactly for who they are. And that is when you're going to understand exactly the intensity of the abuse you have been persevering and you've been going through. And it's the only way actually you're going to start healing. So it's a word of encouragement out there for the empaths who are struggling. And because there's many empaths around the world, many people around the world, because manipulative people, these people who is abusive, they only fall for empaths. They only target empaths because it's only empaths. It is only people who are empathetic. They can handle, they can manage this situation, and they can learn, they can live with them because they are very forgiving, and they are very, they always try to heal that situation. They always try to heal them because they always think that, yes, I can heal the person, I can help them, I can do this. So you're going to do a lot of things for them. But whatever you do, guys, is all in vain. They will never be satisfied with whatever you're doing or whatever you're giving them. So they will never get enough. You can never satisfy a narcissist. You can never satisfy a psychopath. You can never satisfy a sociopath. So those people, they always keep on taking. They will always take whatever you have. They will take your energy, they will take your money, they will take your time, they will take your, there is nothing they will need. There is nothing, because everything what you have of you, whatever it is you had when you were meeting those people in the first place, self-esteem, dignity, friends, relatives, family, money, finances, they will destroy you completely. So normally when you're with those people, They take everything from you. And the moment you decide that now I have enough of being abused, I have enough of being manipulated, when you start seeing the mask falling off and you're starting realizing that actually you've been probably with the wrong people for a very long time, whereby you didn't even know it. So when you start now learning all those tricks and starting to take your power back, that is when you realize that actually it's time for you to take that power move and step out. Because it is either, it is two things you're trying to do when you're stepping out. It's either you're stepping out to survive, or you're staying in to get destroyed completely. Because these people, they will never leave you a healthy individual. When you're with them, they will never leave you healthy individual. They will make sure that they destroy you completely. They will destroy you to the bones. So you always have to make a decision. If you want to live, get out and go and heal and recover yourself, or if you want to stay in those games, in those manipulative games, and destroy your life and completely get out of order. Because I've always told you, like I've said in this beginning of this video, it's very difficult to recover and it's very difficult to heal. Most of those toxic relationships that people have been in, many people, they have never recovered. Even until this moment, even somebody who has been like for 20 years, 10 years, they have never recovered until now. They're still struggling to recover, and they have never recovered. So it is either you move out of those relationships and go and heal yourself and recover, or you want to stay inside and completely get destroyed. But I can tell you for one thing is for sure. I can give you a word of hope, and I will tell you something what is for sure. Those people, they are not in your life by accident. Everything is in divine order. You have met those people for a reason, because when you're an empath out there and you're involved in the toxic relationship, there is always a hidden reason why you're with those people. There's a hidden reason why. And most of the times, the universe aligns you for you to meet those people, and the universe will put those people in your path, in your way, for you to be able to experience pain, for you to be able to experience abuse, for you to be able to experience that level of things that actually probably you never learned about. So the universe will align those people to come into your life for a very specific reason. And most of the reasons, actually, like I've said earlier, most of the empaths that have been involved in those abusive relationships, they have actually ended up getting awakened. So most of it's very likely that if you're an empath and you're in an abusive relationship, it is the universe that has actually aligned those people to come in your path. Because for you to be able to awaken, you are supposed to go through some sort of a very, very hard, very difficult situation. So when you go through intensive abuse, intensive manipulation, intensive like situations and circumstances that will make you think very, very hard, and sometimes even you will be thinking that you will be thinking even sometime why you were born in the first place, because you will never imagine that there is even people who are like that in the world. You will never imagine that there's some kind of people, some type of people who have that kind of programming, and their job and their work is just to abuse people and to manipulate people psychologically. So if you're an empath out there, word of encouragement: learn how to take your power back and learn how to step out. Because when you step out of that situation, that is when usually the universe starts to align you. The universe will heal you, definitely, because the universe didn't put you there put you in that situation for nothing. There was a reason for that. So the universe will heal you, God will heal you, and when you recover now, that is when you're going to start to be a better person. Because that is when you start to learn a lot of things about self-love. You start to learn how to protect yourself, because maybe before you have been falling for a lot of individuals who are like that, and maybe you didn't even know it. But one individual will come in your life who will actually overturn the whole cycle of events, whereby you're going to refresh your mind and learn everything that you didn't know, and you'll be able to discover exactly who you are. Because definitely when you're living those relationships, most likely you are awakening. It is through awakening that you are leaving a toxic person. So if you're a person out there who is in that kind of situation, be very confident, or almost certain, or even sure that you're most likely going to awaken. And the universe will take you out of that relationship and will awaken you. And that is when you're going to start to become a better version of you. You're going to learn everything about self-love. You're going to learn about loving other people unconditionally. But also on the other hand, you're going to learn, most importantly, how to protect yourself and how to protect your energy so that you never meet those kind of people again. So guys, that being said, it's been a pleasure having you on board. I really love you guys. I really love you guys. It's a really blessed Sunday. I'm out in the nature, and you cannot believe the feeling I have right here, just under the nature and the trees. You know, you cannot believe the feeling I have. But other than that, guys, it's been a lovely day, and it's been a blessing to have you guys all on board. All right, guys. Before I go, I need to remind you guys, if you're new, always you can subscribe to my channel, Denzomo's Unscripted. Denzomo's 888 as it appears on the page. And if you are old and returning, guys, always remember there's a person out there who always needs this kind of information. Always feel free to send them the links, and always you can share this information with the people out there. And then let's keep on breaking the empath free, because that's my main motivation of this whole page. So let's get the empaths out of those situations and let's break empaths free, guys. Other than that, been a pleasure having you on board, and hope to see you soon. Take care now. Denzomo signing out. Bye.